finances in a rut? Need a way out? Lynn Demmons is here to help. She's your personal financial rebound coach. Being a wife, mother, and educator, she understands the importance of controlling your finances and building generational wealth. She is here to help you find money you didn't know you had and live life on your terms. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it is true, and it's definitely a good thing. Lynn Demmons of Demmons Enterprise offers one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and radio podcast entitled Financial Confidence on WYTV7. Lynn Demmons of Demmons Enterprise, your #1 financial rebound. We are week 11, guys. Week 11 into this thing with Your Money Ain't Gotta Be Funny. We've been coming at you for 11 weeks with some great financial wealth building tips. Lynn, how are you doing today?
I'm amazing. I'm ready to help get your audience ready for the holidays.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready too. All right, let's get it. Our financial wealth tips for today.
All right, the first one I'm going to share with you guys, the best gift for your kids this season. No, it's not the PlayStation 5. It is not a new iPhone. One of the best gifts you can give your kids is your time with you and financial discussions. Every year, we try to come up with the best gift idea. What's that best present? The best present I want to share with you is personal finance. You don't have to wait till your babies are teenage age to be able to do this. You can have this conversation now. As long as they know how to add numbers, you can do that. Get books for them, whether you're borrowing books from the library or purchasing books on investing for kids so that they can learn how to handle money. If they don't learn how to manage credit cards, student loans, buying a home, car, investing for retirement, they will enter the adult world unprepared. And we don't want to do that, right? And oftentimes, many of those loan and credit card companies and other organizations, they really don't want everyone to understand money. Why? Because there's big money in poverty. Give your kids the best gift this Christmas, this holiday season. Give them the gift of financial discussions.
I like it. Your money ain't gotta be funny. Y'all, we're week 5 into this, getting our finances together, getting things right. Lynn Demmons has been showing up each and every Monday to let you know tips on how to get your money right? Your money ain't gotta be funny is what we call it. So you already know what it is. Get your pen, get your paper, and let's get started. What's up, Lynn?
Hello, Tamika. I want to tell the people today that conviction and convenience don't live on the same street.
Okay, now tell us where they live. Get it to us. Give it to us.
All right. So we've seen all the data right out there that talks about the median Black household having 1/8 the wealth of the median white household. The white household has about $188,000 net worth, while the Black household has $24,000 worth of net worth. And there are only 300,000 Black families that have a net worth of $1 million. That means there's 3.5 million families that have negative net worth today. What's good for you and what you should be doing to get to that next level is on the opposite side of town. What you got to decide to do is that money is only good if you use it the right way. So make those decisions that are now going to help you. You must decide to be the change agent for your family. Remember this, your conviction and your convenience, they don't live on the same street. Thank you guys so much for listening.
I'm Lynn with your finances. But before we get started, guys, just want to remind you of the guiding principle for this show, which is Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Guys, we also invite you to pray over your finances because the Bible teaches us that we should pray without ceasing. Therefore, pray about everything every day, 24/7 if you can. I know that's a little bit unrealistic, but also being mindful of the conversations that you're having and as far as your prayer life is concerned. So if you will, guys, commit this simple prayer to memory as you move forward in growing, making your money, keeping your money, and growing your money the right way. Lord, help us to value things in this world that's really valuable. That's our relationship with you, our lives, and our families. Help make us responsible stewards of your financial resources, and let us trust your holy word. The eternal glory in thy son Jesus, in his name we pray. Amen. Yes, guys, we're talking about the 10 things you should not do with your finances. Just to make sure that we reiterate, we're going to take this and kind of model it after those 10 commandments for debt, because it ties in so very well with the different things that you should not be doing with your finances. Also, guys, don't forget to go over to Financial Confidence on Facebook and follow us, like, share this episode out with all of your friends, whether they're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're there too. Go follow me at Demmons Speak. That's Demmons, no demons here. Demmons. So let's get started, guys. For the reason that you're here, what are those 10 things that you should not do with your finances? So we're going to start with number 1, guys. Thou shalt not create new debt. And looking at debt, just want to give you a simple reminder. Debt is a form of slavery, so you got to get rid of that bad debt. Proverbs 22:7 teaches us that the borrower is slave to the lender. And I don't know about you, but that word slaves has such a negative connotation that motivates me enough to say to myself now, what is it that I need to do? What is it that my family needs to do? What are some of those things that we can now do that are going to allow us to be able to take a good long look at what we're spending money on, how we're spending that money, and what are some of the things that we can do differently now so that we are not in this situation. We're not creating this situation in which we just continue to amass all of these different types of debt. And that's a very important principle to live by as you continue to make, to keep, and to grow your finances so you can do what you're called to do. So the second thing, guys, is thou shalt completely eliminate that credit card debt. And when you look at that credit card debt, it's hindering you from creating lasting wealth. And lasting wealth comes from consistency. And in order to be consistent, we all know that you must be disciplined in this. It takes discipline for an individual to go through their finances and look at everything and model and have a plan and be intentional, right? In everything that they're doing, everything that they're spending, everything that they're saving, everything that you're investing. So think about that from a discipline perspective. And Proverbs 13:11 teaches us that wealth from those get rich quick schemes, that's going to flee from you, right? That quickly disappears. But wealth from hard work is going to last for the long haul. That's going to last over time. So being intentional in the way that you're going about it, being disciplined in your financial resources, and in eliminating that credit card debt and figuring out different ways to now amass the generational wealth that we're called to build, right? Figuring out what is that next best thing that I need to be doing. And guys, trust me, I understand. You say, well, right now I'm living paycheck to paycheck, or right now I'm living paycheck to Monday, or right now I'm living paycheck to that day. Understanding that sometimes things happen, but I also understand and recognize that there are some things that are within my control. And you need to take a long, hard look for you too. What are some of those things that are within your control that you can now change, that you can now be intentional and taking the right steps that are going to be able to help to correct you? Now, this doesn't happen overnight, because we say this all the time. You didn't get into the situation overnight. But what you can do is take a step back, start to reassess for your financial picture, and understand what it is that you want. See, the problem for most people is that they don't know exactly what they want. And if they do know what they want, oftentimes they don't want it badly enough. So you have to figure out, it's not just enough to want something. It's not just enough to know something. We all know that, we shouldn't be creating new debt. We all know that we should not, completely eliminate that credit card debt. We all know this, but it's not enough to just know it. You must practice. So by being disciplined, it allows you to now practice those things that you know. And that reminds me of a tennis example. When I first started out playing tennis, one of the number one things that we would work on with the coach was our forehand. Forehand, we get out there, we hit the forehand every day. We go out there for practice for 2 hours and we're just working on the forehand. And I'm thinking to myself, why are we only working on the forehand? Come back the next day for practice. What are we doing yet again? I was like, okay, I got this forehand thing. So when are we going to move on to the next thing? But the thing that we kept doing is working on the forehand, working on the forehand, working on the forehand over and over and over. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why are we continually doing the same thing over and over? I got this now. I should be able to move on to the next thing. I need some other moves that I can now use while I'm out here on the court. And then we come back again. What are we doing? We're working on the forehand, working on the forehand, working on the forehand. I said, you know what? This coach is just taking our money because all we're doing is sitting out here working on this forehand. But what I failed to understand in all of the effort, all of the intense effort of working on that forehand is that you got to practice that thing to get it down. Once you practice it so well and get it down, you can now utilize that to help you win games. But it's not until you master that. And Bruce Lee has a saying, I fear not the man who practices 10,000 kicks one time, but the man who practices one kick 10,000 times. And essentially what that says is, not only do you need the right mindset, because I had the mindset to go out there and do that, but you also need the skill set. Do you have the skill set? Do you have the discipline? Have you practiced it enough? Have you practiced enough the idea of actually going through and paying off that debt and continuing to stay out of that debt and eliminating credit card debt and moving to the next debt or whatever it is for you? Because you have to decide what that is for you. What does that look like for you? What can you manage within your own budget? And again, I think this bears repeating. It's not enough to just know it. You must practice it. You must do this over and over and over. How do you get results? You got to practice. It's as simple as that. Every athlete knows that. Every politician knows that. Every speaker, public speaker, author knows that. In order to get better at something, what do? You have to repeat it. In order for everyone to start telling your story, what do you have to do? You have to keep repeating your story. The same thing happens in our finances. In order for you to see those true results in your finances, you have to continually do the thing that is going to get you out of that debt, not creating new debt, to eliminate those credit cards, to minimize, whatever it is inside of your finances. And I can't tell you what that is, but you can take a long, hard look at that, actually do the work, pull down the numbers. And it's not until you know those numbers, you got to know your numbers, folks, right? It's not until you know your numbers that you're truly going to do the things that you need to be doing or that you can do with your finances. That's going to completely change the game for you. See, the challenge for many of us is that we think that we need so much more than we actually do. And we think that we need that much more because we're looking at the world. We're not looking at our source. Come on, somebody. We're not looking at the source, but we're looking at all of these other resources that are available to us. But when we look to the source, my Bible tells me, and it should be in yours if you didn't tear it out, then he'll take care of all your needs. If he'll take care of the birds of the air and the fish of the sea, why will he not take care of me? So it's very important for us to understand and recognize that there are some things that we should not be doing with our finances. But it's not until we take a good, long, hard look. And oftentimes it's really difficult to look at yourself and what you're doing wrong, but it's so much easier to see what everybody else is doing wrong. So take a moment to now analyze, internalize, right? Internalize that situation for you from your financial perspective. All right, let's go ahead and get to the next one, guys. Start purchasing things with cash and your debit card. Why? Because we are called to be good stewards of our financial resources. It's all God's money anyway, and the truth be told, it's all His. However, we're simply managers of it. And what we have to recognize here is Psalms 24:1. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and all who live in it. So if it all belongs to Him, right, then what is it that we should be doing to ensure that we are good stewards of the financial resources that are available to us? So if you put yourself on this cash diet, and I know for some, you say, wait a minute, cash is a commodity that you rarely see in this day and age. And I know for me myself that you rarely see cash, right, in my purse. I rarely have cash in my purse. But I also understand that when you're starting out on this journey of making your money, keeping your money, and growing your money, you must be strategic. You must be intentional in your actions as far as what it is that you are building for. And the number one thing that's going to help you to get there, guys, is to know your why. And I know we hear this all the time, but understanding your why, if you are single and you're working on this alone, but if you have family, a spouse that you're working on this, you all are coming together in this, you also have to understand their why. Because oftentimes they're not going to buy into your why, but if you're speaking to their why and what they stand to gain as a result of this, talk about the negative consequences, but don't dwell there. Talk about the potential gains from the perspective of their why, and you'll see how everyone in the family gets on board, right, with this idea, this concept of making your money, keeping your money, and growing your money, and stop doing those things, right, that you should not do with your finances. But it takes time, right? It takes time to get to this place because you must be intentional, because what most people are looking for is not just another technique. And that's one of the challenges for many of us in our finances, because we'll try something for a time, then that doesn't work. We push that out, then we look for something else for a time, push that out, and that doesn't work. So we got to go get something else, some other technique. And what ends up happening for many of us, if we keep going after technique after technique after technique, then you become fatigued with all of these different techniques that have been pushed at you. You see the small snowball, and you see the avalanche over here. Then you see the Cash is King program, and then you have something else completely different. What you must do is find that one thing that works best for you in your finances, and you stick to it. Yeah, you tweak it a little, but you don't completely change the technique. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So you have to understand that if you're working on this process and you want to change and stop doing those things you should not do with your finances, but you also have family members you need to bring on board, it's not just your why that's important. It is their why also that needs to be taken into consideration when you start having these courageous conversations and getting everyone on board so you can do what you're called to do. To build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. So what else should we not be doing with our finances? Well, one of these things, we should be checking our credit reports. And I know oftentimes for many of us, we don't check it, right? We don't check our credit reports. We don't go, even though we know, there's a free credit report that's available at least once a year. Oftentimes, many of us, we're afraid to look at it. We're afraid to see what that number is. We're afraid to see, what are all those things that are on there, because it's overwhelming, it's stressful, it causes me pain. And when I'm in pain, what am I going for? I'm going for a pain reliever. I'm going to look for that solution that's going, that quick fix in many cases, because no one likes to be in pain. And I don't blame you. I understand that and I can relate. But what we also have to understand is sometimes you got to go through the pain to get to the glory. Sometimes you must go through in order to get to the glory. So in going through that process, you need to analyze and look at that credit report. Why? Guys, because money is not evil, but greed is. And oftentimes when you get in these situations, and I'm not saying every situation, but most people who end up in bad situations and they are not checking their credit reports, oftentimes it's because in many cases there's been some greed that has crept in. Whether you want to believe it or not, just take a long, hard look and see, because you saw something that you thought you wanted. You knew you couldn't afford it in that moment, but you went after it anyway, right? Take that long, hard look on the inside and come to, have that true confession and conversation with yourself around your financial picture. But then once you have that true conversation, now you know what the problem is. Now you know where to go and fix the problem, or you know exactly what is going to be the type of solution that you need that's going to help you fix this problem. But it's not until you recognize that, guys. And this, related to this topic of money not being evil, this is one of the most misquoted scriptures of all time, because money is not the root of all evil. It is the love of money that is the root of evil. So you have money in your hands, but not in your heart. That's the only place that money should be, in your hands and not in your heart. So wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will be. That's Matthew 6:19-21. Go check it out if you don't believe it. It's in your Bible if you haven't torn it out. Make sure, guys, that you're doing those things with those financial resources that you know you are called to do. Also, make sure that you're avoiding those credit repair companies. Oftentimes, there are many things that you can do as an individual that will allow you to be able to repair your credit. In many cases, you don't have to go unless there's some extreme circumstances. And I do understand there are some extreme circumstances. And I also understand time is of the essence. You may not have the time to be able to do that. However, if you are intentional about getting your financial situations in order, and then once you have that in order, also working to not only make your money, but keep your money and grow your money, you can now strategize around the things that you want to do to be able to ensure that you are being a good steward of those financial resources. Try also paying your bills on time. Pay more than the minimum if you possibly can. Oftentimes we don't. We'll pay that minimum, and that's not one of the things that you should do with your finances. Now, with that said, I do understand now that there are some situations, and not all jobs are paying you your worth. I get that. I completely agree. However, there are always things that we can do. If you missed 2 episodes ago, go back and listen. I gave you several things that you could do today to start making extra money to help meet that. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, how do you now provide yourself some cushion? How can you now have an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month that you now have some room, some breathing room to be able to do those things that you need to do? I'm Lynn Demmons, America's #1 financial rebound coach. Yeah, I said it, America's #1. If you're enjoying the information that's being shared here at WYTV7, please go over and make a donation at WYTV7.org. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Demmons Speak. Again, that is Demmons, no demons here, DEMMONS
And it is Monday, so you know it's time for Your Money Ain't Gotta Be Funny with my girl Lynn Demmons from Demmons Enterprises. Yeah, that is Demmons, no demons here. All right, she's going to tell you how to get your money right because, we had a good weekend and you probably spent a little too much, but it's all good. She's going to help you get back on track. What's going on, Lynn?
Hello, Tamika. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. So what is our tip for today?
All right. Our tip today is money is not evil. Money is choices. The more money you have, the more choices you have. And I think the number one problem is that you learn from broke people. That's right. You learn from broke people because they told you the biggest lie. They told you to save your money for a rainy day, whether that was under the mattress or in the bank. Doesn't matter. Neither one of them is paying you much interest right now anyway. So it's impossible to save your way to financial freedom is what I'm trying to get to today. So what you need to do is be intentional with your money. Stop thinking too small. Take 100% accountability. Don't be a victim because society has programmed us to be middle class. You got to tell yourself the party's over. It's all about me now. I need to take action. And every time you have a decision to make it immediately. Don't look for more data. Don't look for more information because people would rather come up with excuses than a solution. You got to move fast. Wealthy people are driven by those financial targets, so you need a financial target as well. How do you feel about being stuck? That's your question for today. Enough is enough. Accept full responsibility. Tell yourself that you're disgusted, that you are responsible, and that you did this because money is not evil, y'all. Money is choices. The more money you have, the more choices you have. I'm Lynn Demmons. That's Demmons, no demons here, y'all. Thank you for listening in.
And then give your social media.
You can follow me on social media at Demmons Speak. That's DEMMONS SPEAK. Demmons Speak.
All right, we're gonna do that over. Hold on. All right, hold on. And okay. Lynn, that was some really good advice. I like that, taking accountability. So tell us how we can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. You can follow me on all social media at Demmons Speak. That's DEMMONS Speak on all social media platforms.
Love it. Lynn Demmons, Your Money Ain't Gotta Be Funny on Midday Vibes with me, Tamika Bright. Keep it locked. More music on the way. All right. And then we have, this is week. So that was week 4, right? Was that week 4 that we just did? Finances in a rut? Need a way out? Lynn Demmons is here to help. She's your personal financial rebound coach. Being a wife, mother, and educator, she understands the importance of controlling your finances and building generational wealth. She is here to help you find money you didn't know you had and live life on your terms. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it is true, and it's definitely a good thing. Lynn Demmons of Demmons Enterprise offers one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and radio podcast entitled Financial Confidence God's Way on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. Lynn Demmons of Demmons Enterprise, your #1 financial rebound coach.